What's up? It's Chris, the Drone Geek, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Drones. To start, I just want to apologize in advance. I'm about to get a little bit meta on you. Today, I was supposed to go out and record a review of the DJI FPV in full acro mode. I've had this drone for a few weeks now, and I started very slow, just moving from normal mode, which was a piece of cake, to sport mode, which posed a little bit more of a learning curve and adjustment, but I quickly got through that because I'm used to flying drones from DJI, and then I moved into manual mode, which is a whole different level of flying. I got comfortable enough with that I actually turned the acro mode on, or rather the safety features off on the FPV, so now I can do stunts like power loops and barrel rolls and all sorts of different stuff. I am by no stretch of the imagination good at this yet. I'm not ready to incorporate that type of footage into any of my meaningful projects, whether that's for a client or here on YouTube, but for the sake of a review, I think I'm ready from the perspective of somebody that's never flown FPV up until the last few weeks to give my take on the DJI FPV and the experience of flying in full acro mode as a whole. So that was supposed to happen today, but unfortunately southeastern Pennsylvania is in for a pretty terrible storm. Lots of thunderstorms rolling through the area in just a few hours, and there's actually the slight possibility there could be tornadoes, or at least tornado watches and warnings will probably be issued throughout the afternoon today when that storm rolls through. So that's not the point. The point is, it's not a good day for flying. So I decided I was going to take this opportunity where I can't actually go out and fly to talk about something I've wanted to address for about this past 6 months or so. So as my platforms grow, I'm getting the same question from a lot of different people on the end of the spectrum that have been close friends to me for years, all the way to people that are brand new acquaintances that just found out about my platform and are reaching out to me asking this question, which is, I'm looking to get started in flying drones. Which drone should I buy? Now, this question, first of all, is the wrong question you should be asking yourself. But when people would ask me about what drone they should buy, before I would just sort of steer them in the direction of an entry-level drone. And that was sort of irresponsible of me because I didn't have all of the information I needed to give them my informed opinion. And no matter what you're helping somebody with in life, remember, an informed opinion is the responsible opinion. You don't want to just shoot from the hip and tell your friends what you think unless you have facts and information to back that up. You're not being a good friend, and you're definitely being an irresponsible mentor if you are doing that. So stop that. I stopped myself. I'm no longer doing that. And instead, I'm posing a few questions to them. And I thought, you know what? I should address this on my YouTube channel. So today, we're going to be talking about the 5 factors and questions that you should be examining before going out and buying your first drone. Let's start with number 1. What do I intend on using my drone for? This is a question that I ask everybody to start with, because if you're a photographer, or if you're looking to get into photography or video for that matter, you're going to get a different drone as opposed to somebody that is looking to go headlong into inspections, into thermals, into all of these other things that you can use drones for. More often than not, the questions I get are from people looking to get into photography and video, or are looking to share photography and video if they're not looking to do it professionally. If this is the case and you're not looking to go professional with it, you're just looking to post the pictures to your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever the case may be, and it's purely just for enjoyment and recreation, I would almost always steer you in the direction of an entry-level drone. Something like the DJI Mini 2, the Fimi X8 Mini, or the Hubsan Zeno Mini, something along those lines that isn't gonna break the bank, but is gonna give you quality in your images and your video that is comparable to like a cell phone video, like an iPhone 11. It's going to have a really good picture quality for what it is, and it's going to be something that you can post and be proud of. On the same token, if you're looking to go professional with your photo and video, I may recommend that you step it up to something like the DJI Air 2 or Air 2S, something along those lines. Again, not gonna break the bank. It'll give you the opportunity to test something out and see if you really do want to proceed with it and continue to advance and hone your skills in aerial photography and video without spending too much money. So that's sort of where I would go with that. Somebody that's just getting into the market. If you're not looking to go professional with your photo and video, definitely something like a mini drone. And if you are, maybe something like the DJI Air 2S, because it'll give you that option of a professional grade drone without having to spend too much cash up front while you get everything figured out. If you're looking to jump into the industries of thermal or cinematic video, something along those lines that's sort of a little bit more advanced when it comes to drone operations, I would highly recommend that you do tons and tons of research, because those drones can get pretty expensive. So it's going to be something that you want to make sure you are absolutely positive you want to get into, because it's going to be a big investment up front, no matter what direction you go. It's going to range from, on the low end, probably 6, 7, 8 grand, all the way up to 20, 30 grand for a drone that can do those types of missions. Number 2, what is my budget? So this is another one, we sort of touched on this in point number 1, but you really need to consider this before you really start researching drones, and you have to level your expectations with what your budget is. If your budget is $200 for a drone, you're gonna have a problem when it comes to quality. And it's not necessarily a problem as long as you temper those expectations for that drone. You're not going to get the video resolution that you want out of a $200 drone more often than not. You're certainly not going to get photo resolution like the Mavic 2 Pro or something along those lines with a $200 budget. You can get a fun drone that's really great to fly and might take okay pictures and video, something that, you know, maybe 720p, 1080p, whatever the case may be. It's just not going to fit the bill for a professional level drone at $200. Now, on that same side of that, the opposite side of the reverse side, no, it is the opposite side of that same coin. If you have a higher budget, it's going to be easier for you to get access to features that will help you not just flying, but also in the quality of the multimedia you're capturing and the functionality of your drone. So you don't always need a ton of money to make the most out of what comes out of your drone, but you certainly do need to temper those expectations as it relates to your budget. $200 is going to get you one thing, whereas $10,000 is going to get you a completely different thing. So keep that in mind. Number 3, how adept is my fine control motor skill? This is one that I ask everybody, and there's 2 reasons for this. First of all, if you have absolutely zero fine control motor skill, like using very tiny things like joysticks, for instance, and hand-eye coordination with those tiny controls and joysticks isn't that great, you may not want to consider getting into drones, because no matter how safe a drone is or what kind of safety features they have in relation to obstacle avoidance and error correction, things of that nature, you're still going to have a really difficult time and put yourself at risk to lose a lot of money if you don't have the motor skills to go with it. But if you have played a few video games in your life and you at least have decent fine control motor skills, I would recommend that you definitely still consider getting a drone. But that is where it sort of becomes more of a spectrum. If you've played a few video games in your life, you're not really great at them, you don't have great fine control motor skills, but good enough that you could at least be competitive in a video game atmosphere or steering something, whatever the case may be, you may want to look at a drone that, again, has something like obstacle avoidance on it that will allow you to be able to fly in spaces that might be a little bit more challenging without putting your drone at a huge risk of being crashed into a wall or a tree or something along those lines. Now, don't get me wrong. Obstacle avoidance should not be relied upon to save you from every incident. However, it can save you in some pretty tight situations. So don't rely upon it, but if you need it, I would recommend getting a drone with it, because it's going to potentially save you a lot of money as you learn how to fly. But if you've got a very high level of fine control motor skill, you're a pro gamer, or you've controlled RC things before and you've got a very comfortable feel behind the joysticks, you may be able to forego a drone with those sensors on them or with those safety features built in, and you might be able to go just straight to FPV and pick up on that pretty quickly. So it's just something you have to consider. How good are you, and you have to be honest with yourself, at controlling something with tiny little joysticks that might be very, very touchy. Number 4, where and how often do I envision myself flying? So this is another one you really want to be super honest with yourself about when you're answering it and considering buying a drone. So if you're going to be flying your drone everywhere that you go, you're going to be flying it all of the time, it may be a smart idea to look into more compact drones or drones that are easily stored in a backpack or a luggage case, whatever the case may be, something like a folding drone like the Mavic series or the Autel series, the Evo series of drones, the mini drones, things of that nature, things that are going to be easily stored in a bag and taken with you no matter where you're going. Now, if you're only going to be using it commercially, so you're going to have a vehicle dedicated to driving this drone around with you, you're not going to be flying it anywhere on vacation with you, you're not going to be hiking up a mountain with it, that's where you want to start looking at maybe something like the Phantom 4, something that has a higher level of precision through the camera, is a little bit more reliable in a professional or enterprise setting, and isn't necessarily as compact or easily transportable, because that's not so much a problem if you're only flying it for commercial purposes like inspections or professional photography, or somewhere that you don't need to climb a mountain or take a plane to get. And finally, if you're only going to be flying your drone in your backyard and you might only fly it every once in a while, this is one where, again, I would, even though it's compact and foldable, recommend that you buy something entry level like the mini series drones, whether it's the Hubsan or the Fimi or the DJI mini drones. Buy something like that because it's going to be affordable and you're not going to feel bad about buying it 6 months down the road because it was so affordable and because it's a reliable option no matter how inconsistently you fly it day to day. It's just going to be a very solid, reliable option. And number 5, probably the most important, which drone do I like best? So after considering number 1 through 4, probably the most important question you have to ask yourself is, which drone do you like best? I can tell you this, drone technology has advanced so much in the past 5 years, which is about how long I've been flying drones. And over the past 5 years, I've seen huge strides from the Phantom 1, which I never really got the chance to fly. I got into it a little bit after the Phantom 2 was released. It was actually right as the Phantom 3 was released. But anyway, from the Phantom 1 to where we are today with the Phantom 4 version 2, with the Mavic 2, the Autel Evo 2, the Skydios, all of these drones, they're all super reliable, especially when you compare them to where they started. You really can't go wrong with something that's ready to fly out of the box, like these drones that we addressed in this video. FPV is sort of a different story. You have to have an understanding of not just how to fly a drone in manual mode where you're actually controlling the throttle and the pitch and it's up to you to keep the drone in the air, as well as like mechanical engineering and electronics and how to wire things. Those are all things you need to understand. So I wouldn't recommend jumping into FPV unless you've got a mentor that can hold your hand the entire way through the initiation process of building your drone or buying a ready-to-fly FPV drone and then learning how to fly it. Definitely would not recommend that. But if you're just looking to dip your toe in the water and see if this is the right hobby or profession for you, definitely look at a ready-to-fly drone from the likes of DJI, Autel, Skydio, Fimi, Hubsan, any of those companies, super reliable, and you're gonna be happy with the tech they put out. So just look at the different drones, decide which one is sort of gonna fit your need the most based upon those 4 criteria we talked about before. And then this last criteria is the one where you sort of just go with your opinion, your gut feeling. Gut feeling? We're not eating here. I mean, maybe it's lunchtime, I'm a little bit hungry. Your gut feeling, go with your gut feeling. If you like the looks of a drone, you like the spec sheet that comes with it, just go ahead and buy it. There's nobody that can tell you which drone you're gonna be happiest with besides you. So make sure that you're making the decision based upon what you want and what you like. That's really the most important factor in determining which drone is going to be best for your needs. But what do you think? Did I miss anything in my list of factors to consider before buying your very first drone? Let me know down in the comment below, and if you like this video, hit the thumbs up icon. It helps me out a lot getting out into the YouTube algorithm. And if you really like this video and you love drone related content, make sure you hit the subscribe button while you're down there too. It helps me out even more than the thumbs up, and it's gonna get me closer to my goal of 1,000 subscribers. We inched a little bit farther after our last video. We're at about 865 at the time of recording of this video, and I'd like to see 1,000 before the end of 2021. And I can't do that without your help. So this is your second reminder, if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you have hit that subscribe button, don't forget to recommend this channel to your drone friends, because I'm sure if you like it, they'll like it too. Until next time, I'm Chris, the Drone Geek, and I am out of here.